So they gave you a picture at the top, and they ask you which one of the equations could possibly have been this thing up there. What is that? Is that an ellipse, circle, or hyperbola? Circle, right? We're now down to first grade. I don't think they do this in first grade, right? Show the circle and hyperbola and ellipse, unless you're my kid. Showing. So the first thing I notice is that I look at that center. The center is right on the y-axis. That's x equals 0, and y is a positive number because it's up above the floor, right? The elevator's gone up. So I can tell you that the center is at x equals 0 or x not 0 equals 0, and y 0 is positive. Well, that eliminates quite a bit from this list, by the way. So step 2 is go through that list down there that they gave you in multiple choice and find the centers. Well, the first one, the center is 0, 4. If I write it out like that black list, that's the form of the black list, right? It says x minus x naught plus y minus y naught is equal to. Well, the x0 is 0, and the y0 is 4, so the center is 0, 4. Could that be a possible center?
Yeah.
And is this the formula for a circle? Yes. So it looks like and look, it has the green key, it has the answer on it. Huh? Say it again?
The 4 is in
The 4 is the r squared, so it's 2 squared. Oh, you mean this 4? That's the y0.
Oh, okay.
This is the
why-
y0.
Why put y is not 4? Yeah, or the formula. There's two y is not 4. There's y minus 1. There's two y.
Right, this is y0. Y0. They're the same 4. The centers come out of this. When you write it this way, this tells you where the center is. x0 is 0, y0 is 4. I got this from the formula. That black list that I just gave you.
Yeah, I had
Right? So I need to write it in the way it is on that black list, and out of that formulation of it, it tells me what the center points.
So x is 0 and y is 4.
X0, like this little x with the little subscript 0 is 0, and y0 is 4.
Okay.
Right? I wrote it like this. You'll see another one. I'll do the same thing for another one. You'll see it. Okay, so number 1's a possibility, and it has the green key.
Question. Where is the radius?
The radius is 9. It does.
They don't give it to you?
They just gave me the formula. They're just asking. Here's a picture. Which one of this list fits that picture? That's what they're asking. So the first one's the formula for a circle, and it has a center which makes sense compared to that picture, right? So I'm going to go through the other ones and tell you why they're wrong. So the second one, minus sign in the center. You see that minus sign? You have blah, blah, blah squared minus blah, blah, blah squared. That's hyperbola. Scratch, hyperbolas have the minus sign in between the two terms. So that's not a circle. It should be a plus to be a circle. And you already told me that picture is of a circle, so it can't be the second choice. Not a circle, hyperbola. So that's out. Third one. Well, I have to remember all conic sections have to be equal to 1 at the end. So to get it to be equal to 1, I need to divide everything through by 18. So if I divide through by 18, I get this thing, and I can reduce it. I get that thing. That's not a circle. There's a A and a B, and they're different. What is this? This is a ellipse, right?
Yeah.
So that's an ellipse. This one's also an ellipse. I can see it already. Because if I divide through by 10, I'm going to get an A or a B that's different, right? But we can go through the motions. Not a circle, that's an ellipse. So that's not right because you already told me that picture's of a circle. And
Why did you divide through?
because you have to make it, you know those formulas that I gave you? You have to transform these to look like those formulas. So if there's something on the right that doesn't look like those formulas, then you have to change it so it looks like those formulas. All right, so like the next one. In the formulas in that black list, you have a 1 here. It's not a 1 here. So you have to divide it through by 10 to make it a 1 here. So if you do that, if I do that, I divide through by 10 on each term, I'll get this thing, that reduces, and now I have an A and a B, which you can't see, I think. That are different, right?
Then
See,
what?
this is a 10 and a 5. They're different. So it's an ellipse.
But then why didn't you divide like the other one?
Well, I could already see it was a circle, it was already in the form of a circle. So when I would just, I didn't do this, but you could have your black list sitting in front of you and just go, oh, that one is the equation of a circle, it fits. And in fact, that's what you guys told me right away, that's the formula for a circle. So I'm not gonna do the work unless I have to. So that's an ellipse. Then the last one, that's a circle, but if I look at it, the circle center, the x0 is -2, right? Because I have to write it in the form of the black list, x minus x naught. So this is x naught, it's -2. And the y minus y naught is 3. So the center of the circle is -2, 3. Right, it's in the wrong, this is in the wrong spot. So this is a circle, but it's in the wrong spot. So it doesn't match. It's not a match.
So basically what we're looking for is basically the center and the radius, because the first choice.
And that it matches the shape, right? If it was an ellipse, you'd have to make sure that it was an ellipse that matched the shape.
Alright. Is there like a graphic calculator?
It would take too much work on a non-89 to do. That you'd be better off just doing it the way I just showed you, less time. There's a way. So it's the center's at the wrong position for the last one. So that leaves me with only one choice as the first one. So on the exam, what I'm going to do is give you that list and ask you why the ones you chose are wrong, that you didn't select. Like it's an ellipse, it's an right, just like I did. So exactly like I did. I'm going to save number 8 for Wednesday so I can show you where this is applied.